Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to League Zero, the premier Super Formula Series. It's Season 9, Round 1, the Grand Prix of New York, and guaranteed to be a good one as we are here at Watkins Glen. As always, I'm your host, James Easton, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as it looks like drivers starting to get gridded up here for the season debut. Let's go ahead and run through the starting order to see how quali went for these guys. Ray Aguilar making a big return here, starting on pole. Nick Beaver starting second. Finley Fitzsimmons out of retirement, starting third. Russell Soto starting fourth. Jaden Calloway, the defending champ, starting fifth. Adam Plunkett starting sixth. Leo Delmas starting seventh. Michael Fairchild starting eighth. Jacob Bramley starting ninth. Connor Scribner starts 10th. Antonio Bianchi, the Italian stallion, starting 11th. Julian Medor will be starting 12th here today. Cycled on back, Jace Meyer starting 13th. Nick Peterson starts 14th. Ryan Tebow starting 15th. Shazi Zuhair starting 16th. Peter Rettinger starts 17th. Andrew Neri starting 18th. Matt Foster starting 19th. Evan Alexander starting 20th. Craig Brick starting 21st. Ben DePew starting 22nd. Arturo Mayorga starting 23rd. Dylan Meyer starting 24th. Cycled back one final time. Felipe Ramos starting 25th. Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, starts 26th. Tom Snyder starting 27th. Christian Gritzko starts 28th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, serving a quali ban here today. He's going to be starting 29th. And Jeremy Barber, the hometown hero, will round out the 30-car grid here today. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as it looks like we're getting ready to go. And we are underway. Barney, our flagman, throwing the green flag. And it's going to be a hectic turn one here, as I already see some crashes towards the back. Couldn't quite tell who that was. As look at these top drivers, Aguilar, Beaver, Fitzsimmons, Calloway getting a bit of a breakaway. Looks like that's going to be Beaver and Fitzsimmons side by side, the battle for second. Fitzsimmons up one spot, and here we go. We've got lunges. There goes Fitzsimmons, the number 16 machine. A huge lunge up towards the front. Aguilar is going to guard the inside line. Fitzsimmons tries the long way around here. Is he going to get the pass complete? Yes, he does. Dipping a tire into the grass. There goes Fitzsimmons trying to get this thing built up and moving here. And it looks like we've got problems out on track. Xavier Zanave, Arturo Mayorga, both involved in that one. McAllister went off track trying to take evasive maneuver, but it looks like the course is clear. Zanave and Mayorga both take a tow back to pit road. They're going to retire from this one. And it looks like we've got a bunch of longtime favorite friends here joining us in the spectator area. I see Alfiero, Dylan Waldron, Victor C., Urko, a.k.a. Eric Fox, Andrew Neri, Jake Jarrell. A lot of great guys coming out here to Watkins Glen to enjoy the show. Now we're starting tonight off the season opener with the 14-lap sprint race. We've got problems. That's Connor Scribner. Looks like that's going to be off, I believe, in turn one. Let's get the replay queued up to see what happened to Scribner. And that number 89 machine. Now Felipe Ramos, Gareth McAllister are down pit road. Does he get a little bit of help? Maybe ever so slightly, and then gets launched hard in the barrier. Unfortunately, Scribner takes a tow back to pit road, so he's going to be done and out of the sprint. Now, if you take a tow in either the sprint or the feature, you are not allowed to rejoin the circuit. Oh, and it's a big off for Leo Delmas. Oh, the car just exploded. I believe that was through the carousel. And Delmas will join the list of drivers who have retired early here. Ramos, McAllister, Delmas, Scribner, Zanave, Mayorga, all down pit road. That's going to leave 24 drivers out on track. Now, for those that may be interested, League Zero is doing a bingo card. Linked in the description on the YouTube channel. You can get on the action. I've got my clipboard here in the broadcast booth, checking off some bingo as we go. was an accidental rhyme. Good for me. Up front, Finley Fitzsimmons still holding on to the race lead. He's got about 6/10 up over Aguilar. And about 1.3 seconds up over Jaden Calloway, the defending champ. It looks like Calloway's got a little bit of pressure. There's Nick Beaver in the number 87 machine. Now, last season, Beaver started running more and more of the Super Formula. Didn't really know how the push-to-pass should be properly applied, so we're going to keep an eye out on that number 87 machine, who has just made his way around the defending champ, and see if he gets things kind of in a bit of more of a groove here this season. Further back, a heated battle for 10th. You're watching Jace Meyer, Adam Plunkett, Shazi Zuhair, Nick Peterson. Nose to tail. As again, we've got, looks like 6 drivers, excuse me, on pit road who have been forced into an early retirement. Still 24 drivers out on track. Gotta say, that is a huge grid for an opening season opener here for the League Zero Super Formula Series. Some of the best open wheel drivers you can find on the service. And my favorite part, no matter where I pan this camera, there is action all the way around. Ben Depew, Evan Alexander, Dylan Meyer. 20th, 21st, and 22nd here. And let's see if I can get an onboard. I'm going to try and find it. Yeah, so we go onboard Ryan Tebow. That is Antonio Bianchi, the number 17 machine, just ahead, diving into the carousel. Now, we are not running the chicane here. And what a beautiful onboard provided by one of our drivers, Finley Fitzsimmons. A great camera angle on these Super Formula machines. And I love the detail that iRacing's put in. You can actually, if you look at the controls, you can see Ryan Tebow grabbing downshifts on the left side, upshifts on the right side of that wheel. And you even see the revs, the gear, all sorts of good information on that steering wheel that's being displayed to these drivers. Good to see Carl Hartwell join us from the spectator area. Unfortunately, Hartwell not joining us for the season opener. Hopefully we see him back out on track later this year. And I just saw a crash report. But I don't see the problem out on track. It showed as Matt Foster in the 32 machine. Let's take a look and see what happened to Foster. Is this going to be a solo incident for the 32, or is he going to get a little bit of help? Just loses the back end, tips it into the wall, and then the problems are there as he loses the front wing. Now, I'm not sure which driver is Spring joined us in the spectator area. Hopefully they can drop me a little bit of intel to see which one of those drivers has went home from the sprint race a little bit prematurely due to an on-track incident, but drivers still have the chance to get back out there for the feature event. McAllister in and out of pit road a long time, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So it looks like that was going to be Leo Dalmas, the smooth-talking Frenchman, number 21. Not pleased with how things have ended up. And there's one of our newer drivers, Craig Burke, battling out with Dylan Meyer and Evan Alexander in the battle for 20th. Aguilar running in second, clicks off the fastest lap of the race. Now for this sprint, not expecting any tire stops. While our feature event, they do have a mandatory tire stop at least once through the event. Can't be on the opening lap, can't be on the final lap. As it looks like Aguilar catching up to Fitzsimmons. There's two longtime rivals we haven't had the chance to see put the boxing gloves on and go at it in quite a while. You can see Beaver and Callaway 3rd and 4th, not too far behind this pair, about a second and a half from the top 2 drivers. 8 laps left to go here at Watkins Glen in the opening sprint of the season. And hopefully it's getting picked up from the trackside cameras, but you can hear these tires squealing in protest from these drivers as they are absolutely on the limit of traction. Let's go a little bit further back. Looks like Michael Fairchild trying to catch up to Jacob Bramley in the number 6. Fairchild sporting his normal 88, a new livery for this season. We are at the halfway mark of the sprint, so drivers will be displayed the cross, green and white flags, signaling the halfway mark. Fairchild looks hungry for an opening here. Is he going to be able to find it against Bramley as he pulls up alongside that bright yellow number 6 machine? Behind these two, you can see Antonio Bianchi, Ryan Tebow, Adam Plunkett running 8th, 9th, and 10th. Oh, there's a battle as Jace Meyer gets bumped slightly. I couldn't tell. I think that was maybe by Peterson. No, I think that's tough to call. I'm not sure if Zuhair or Peterson made a little bit of contact with Meyer there, or possibly a bit of net code between the two. There's Julian Medor as well as Andrew Neri rounding out the top 15. Now your finish in the sprint will set your starting position for the feature main event. Oh, and there's a big crash. That was Christian Gritzko, I think. Let's see what happened to Gritzko in that teal number 91 machine. So on this portion of the racetrack, a little bit off camber, unloads the car in the arrow, and that's what we saw happen to Gritzko, the second driver to have a race-ending crash there. Andrew Neri's made his way up into 14th. That's the 4th position gain, but he has got Julian Medor, and it looks like Peter Rettinger in very hot pursuit. Just ahead, there's another frantic battle. Peterson, Zuhair. I mean, there's battles all across the track. Fairchild and Soto. These drivers are making some big moves here. If we go up to Jacob Bramley, look at that freight train. That's Bramley, Fairchild, Bianchi, Tebow. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th on your screen. Gotta agree with Jake Jarrell here. Neri's running very well in that 64 machine, going back and forth for the 16th place spot, but I believe the fan and commentator's curse may have just hit Neri. Let's see what happened. Is that a solo incident? Does he get some help? Looks like it's going to be a solo incident. Rear end just gets a little bit loose. Neri does a great job, though. Locks up the brakes to prevent that car from snapping loose into the car, into the safety barrier. Barney Flagman watches on as we're spotted in on Jacob Bramley. Up front, still Fitzsimmons, chased by about a half second. Fitzsimmons took off most of last season due to school preventing him from racing, and he's got a little bit of lap traffic ahead of him here at Watkins Glen. Drivers will be displayed the blue and yellow flag. I'm not quite sure who that is. That is going to be Felipe Ramos hopping out of the way of the race leaders. Does a good job making room for Fitzsimmons and Aguilar. Fitzsimmons looks like he gets the better end of the deal there, extends that gap to 3/4 of a second. It's been impressive to see how far Fitzsimmons and Aguilar carry off what I would consider the regular track boundaries, trying to get as much speed as they possibly can. Well, a little bit of a drag there from Fitzsimmons. Another crash report. This time it's Ryan Tebow. It's going to be the same corner we've seen so many drivers have issues at. Focused in on Tebow's number 27 machine. Loses the back end, and around he goes. Tebow takes the toe, so he'll be done and out of this one. I see another race there going on. It's going to be Jaden Calloway and Russell Soto wheel-to-wheel contact between the defending champ and the number 50 machine of Soto. Now in the past, Calloway has been extremely consistent. That is why he's sported the number 1 plate, but he's got a very aggressive Soto now on the inside. Soto makes the pass. Wondering if maybe Calloway says, you know what, this isn't worth risking the car for. And as I say that, Calloway tries the outside line here. Gets squeezed off from the number 50. Delmas giving a big thumbs up to Aguilar, cheering him on as Delmas is watching from the pit road wall. 4 laps left to go here at Watkins Glen, the opening sprint of the season. We check back in. Fitzsimmons still holding about a 7/10 advantage over Aguilar. Tom Snyder finds himself out in the grass here at Watkins Glen. Looks like he just overshot the brake marker a little bit. Not seeing any damage on that 96 machine, so hopefully, oh. No, he's got damage. He's actually missing the front left wheel, so more than a little damage here for Snyder. Must have just barely tagged that wall. Let's see what happened in the 96. Still, Snyder up 7 spots from where he started. And yeah, just missed the brake mark. Doesn't get it slowed down quite in time, but is able to limp it onto pit road under his own power. So with just a few short laps remaining, does Aguilar have anything left in the tank for the sprint to try and track down Fitzsimmons? I think a lot of these drivers have been putting in quite a bit of work in the offseason after Calloway really took majority of the field to school last year in Season 8. Yeah, gotta agree with Sector here. That car was driving great for Snyder, despite the now tricycle approach he was taking to making his way around the Glen. See a little bit of lap traffic here at the end of the straightaway going into Carousel. I don't think that's going to be an issue for Fitzsimmons. It looks like that's going to be Gareth McAllister and I think Jeremy Barber. Bianchi and Fairchild side by side for 6. This could be Bianchi's 5th position gain. And makes the outside line stick here against Fairchild. A very smooth move. Meanwhile, Zuhair and Peterson side by side. And I think right behind them, Julian Mador and Jacob Bramley also side by side. So we've got action every which way you look. Oh, Bramley doing a good job holding on to it there, as Peterson and Zuhair still firing shots back and forth. Zuhair, the black and green number 10. Peterson, that teal number 24. Eric Fox talking a bit of lovable smack to Gareth McAllister. Something has happened as Michael Fairchild comes down pit road. I'm not sure why. We didn't see Fairchild involved in any incidents, but he's going to drop down the standings here. White flag will be out next time by. Aguilar has been slowly closing the gap to Fitzsimmons. Ran about 0.2 faster the last time by here. Both drivers on the push to pass. Aguilar 6/7 off from Fitzsimmons. If he's got anything left, now is the time to try and use it. Now, if Fitzsimmons can come out of retirement and pick up a win in the season opener, that would be absolutely huge for the young British driver sporting that number 16 machine. Makes his way out in the start-finish line stretch. He is catching up to a little bit of traffic, so that actually may be a factor. That's going to be Barber in the number 20. Excuse me, the number 67. Barber's up 10 positions here tonight. And that makes the number 67 one of our rookie drivers the current hard charger. Nick Beaver just clicks off the fastest lap of the race, but he's about 2.1 seconds back from Fitzsimmons, so it's going to be a little bit late to make it happen. Aguilar within 4/10 here of Fitzsimmons. 3/10, a quarter of a second. Oh, this is going to be interesting to see if Aguilar has enough time. Fitzsimmons seems to be holding that gap to his advantage. Was that more lap? Oh, that was lap traffic. That was Barber. Has an off-track excursion just ahead of the race leaders. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it's going to be a factor. Fitzsimmons looks like he's at the tail end of his push-to-pass. Aguilar has used it all up here. And with 0.8 of a second advantage, Fitzsimmons looking very, very good here. And Finley Fitzsimmons out of retirement, picking up the win. Ray Aguilar will get second. And Nick Beaver will round out the top three. And last time by, Beaver did click off the fastest lap of the race as well, 122.6. We're having to keep an eye out on him when it's time for the feature event. We're going to wait for all these drivers to finish, get the top three up here into victory lane. We've got Beaver, we've got Aguilar, and we've got Fitzsimmons, so it looks like everybody's here. And let's go ahead and get this party started. Up first, it's going to be Nick Beaver, that number 87 machine. Nick, welcome back to the top three. A great start to this season, and every time we see you in the Super Formula, it looks like you're getting faster and faster.
Yeah, I guess this car seems to click with me pretty well. It's a ton of fun. I haven't driven it since the last time we raced here, so it took a little bit to get the rust off, but for the most part, obviously I think I got the hang of it. Yeah, that was a ton of fun, this super speedway road racing.
Now, Nick, last season you and I talked a bunch about kind of getting the push-to-pass system figured out. Is that something you're coming more to grips with on when to hit the button and when to save it?
I did not in this race. However, I did watch the guys in front of me and to see when they use it. And it was mostly coming out of turn one, coming up the hill. I think that's when they used it. When you get to the RPM limit, you can turn it off. So I noted that, and now I've said it out loud. Maybe other people will use that too. But yeah, I'm still nervous to use it. You know, like when you play a video game and you hoard all of the resources, thinking I might need this later, and then you get to the end of the game and you still have all your things and you never use any. Anyway, that's what I'm doing here. So I'm trying not to do that.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great one. I mean, you put down the fastest lap time on that final lap, so start in a good position for the feature. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to? I know there's a bunch of hooligans from J2ICS watching, but who else besides those knuckleheads do you want to give a shout out to?
Well, hey, J2I guys. I think there's one J2I guy in this race, maybe Dylan. But anyway, hi guys. Thanks for watching. And thanks every other spectator for watching. It's really cool to know that there are people watching, whether I'm supported or not. It's just a great group of guys to race with. Congratulations, Finley, Ray, for the top two. I feel like we see this a lot. You know, the same few people up front. So maybe one of these days I'll get them.
We believe in you, Nick. Best of luck in the feature, and always a pleasure talking to you, buddy.
All right, thanks, James. See ya.
That was Nick Bieber bringing it home. And third up next, a man who needs no introduction but is going to get one anyway. Ray Aguilar, welcome back to the top three. I know you've been putting in a lot of work in the offseason, and it definitely seems like it paid out for you here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it got some time in, got reacquainted with the car, and feeling pretty good. It's super competitive out there right now, and so for me to even pull a second in a fast sprint race like that, I think I'm pretty pumped.
Now, last season, it seemed like you were kind of losing the fun a little bit, started putting in more seat time, and it seemed like it was coming back to you. Does that kind of, a good second place finish kind of reaffirm that work you put in the offseason?
Absolutely, I think more than anything, you just got to you got to fall back in love with this car, man. They've done a good job making it. It grips, it comes alive in different parts of the race, so. I think just reacquainting myself with my timing and my turn-in rates and brake profiles, I think helped a ton. Feels good, man. Feels good to see you again. Haven't seen you since the off season. Feels good to be back in the broadcast booth. You got all these cool drinks and air conditioning up here.
Yeah, we got
Great.
one of those, what's those new cups that everybody's losing their mind over? Stanley's?
Yeah, Stanley's. My wife has one. It's about 3 feet taller than she is. So
Yeah, we're Stanley affiliates up here in the booth now, so just surrounded by some $50 mugs. So, yeah, definitely living large up here, Ray. But, so, Ray, one more thing. We've known each other way too long, 5, 6 seasons now. We keep saying the talent field keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And it looks like it's more of the same. I mean, so many new drivers and old drivers have really wicked it up to start this season off.
Yeah, there's new names out here that were just shocked. They come on the track and they're super fast. And then, some of the old names are back and putting in the time and work, and you can see that everybody's just flying. You got Jaden with the #1 plate like a beast out there. He's killing it. So, yeah, I'm telling you, I went in search for, a super competitive league, and it turns out I was already in the top one. So here we are.
Awesome, Ray. It's always a pleasure, man. I know this feature event's going to be a ton of fun, and you were able to avoid the bingo card of shame by not wrecking yourself out of a sprint. So, all in all, you got to be pumped with how this season's starting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I got on that bingo chart. I thought I usually did pretty good in the sprint race, but maybe my opinion of myself is different than that of others.
Well, Ray, I've got high opinions. I know the fans do as well. Before I let you go, get ready. Who you want to give a shout out to that helped make this second place possible for you?
My buddies Brian and Vic that are watching me tonight. I want to thank my teammate for helping me prep during the off season, and as always, TGS for putting on an awesome show and making this awesome for everybody that does it. It increases the experience for everybody who's involved. So I appreciate you, James.
Awesome. Couldn't do it without you, Ray. Congratulations, and hope to have you back up here following the feature, my friend.
Yep.
That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the out-of-retirement legend. Welcome back, Finley Fitzsimmons. Good to have you, buddy.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Now, last season, I believe it was school, life, work, kind of everything at once that took you away from the virtual racetrack. What's the word here? Are we going to see you out on track more often this season?
Unfortunately, I'll go back to university after the second round, so you'll see me for the first 2 rounds for sure, but I'm not too sure if I'll race more. I'll try to, of course, but life sometimes gets in the way.
Yeah, that'll do it. But I mean, on the I assume the winter break that has you back in your sim rig, it doesn't look like you lost the touch. And he came out, and I don't think I remember you seeing you race the Super Formula a whole bunch in the past, but it seemed like it came to you very, very quickly.
Yeah, I've been doing officials all week trying to prepare for it because I knew that the others have been racing this car for a while now. But yeah, it all came together quite well, I suppose.
Now, Finley, this is a car where we don't have to worry about fuel stops in the feature event, but we do have that mandatory tire stop that you can't take on lap 1 and you can't take on the final lap. This being kind of a new venture for you, what's the strategy? What's the plan as far as when to take tires during the feature?
I know cold tires are quite slow, so I'll think of maybe taking it towards the tail end of the race to kind of avoid the cold tire times, because you're sort of down on lap time for about 3 or so laps until the tires get up to temp. So you just want to kind of reduce the time that you're on the cold tires as much as possible. But it will depend on the race situation, see how it's going with the drivers around. But yeah, that's the idea.
Well, Finley, starting on pole for the feature event, we no longer have that inverted top 12. Is that a boost of confidence, hoping that a lot of the carnage is going to be behind you at the turn 1 shenanigans?
Well, we saw Raymond started on pole. He got a good run out of turn 1, but that slingshot you can get if you're in third or second is massive. So it's all about protecting from the toe and hoping you stretch your gap on turn one. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a freight train, and I'm going to be third or fourth. But we'll see what we can do. But there's not much you can do.
Well, it's always a lot of fun. Good to have you back out on track. Even cooler to have you back up at the booth, my friend. Before I let you go, get ready for this first feature of the season. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make it happen for you and the team?
I'm not racing for a team this year, unfortunately. However, yeah, great thanks to Antonio for running the league and getting a session up. Thanks to all the stewards and everyone for doing steward things, I suppose. But yeah, thanks to everybody for a nice, clean race, and yeah, it was action from start to finish, I think.
Awesome. Looking forward to it again. And again, Finley, best of luck in the future, and congratulations on a huge sprint win right out of retirement.
Thank you, James. See ya.
That was Finley Fitzsimmons bringing it home in the top spot. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 2 minutes and get these drivers back out on track for the first feature event of the season. All right, race fans, we are back. We're going to get them gridded up for the first feature event of the season. And we do have a poll up on the YouTube side of the broadcast. Let us know what you think. Will the safety car be deployed in the feature? Or is it going to be smooth sailing? I see Nicholas Trollman. I see Sector. I see Urko. All sorts of great drivers join us in the spectator area from other series that we call here at Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Let's see, does everybody make it back out on track? Looks like Dustin Oberlo in the number 42 machine showing on grid, so not sure if that 42 machine is going to be allowed to join or if he's just hanging out and enjoying the party. Trollman, let me know, don't hype up Sector too much. I will do as I please up here in the booth. We get ready for the lights to go on. And the green flag is out. Barney, our flagman, away he goes. Aguilar with a big launch. Looks like a little bit of problems further back in the field. But maybe, just maybe, we'll get through turn one here. Aguilar with a huge launch. Fitzsimmons falls back to second. There's Jaden Calloway, the number 1 machine. Oh, Fitzsimmons drags the wall side by side with Aguilar. Here comes Calloway. Fitzsimmons trying to make the number 16 machine 3 cars wide, and we are going to briefly go 3 cars wide. We got a report, unfortunately, Ryan Tebow down pit road as we watch Fitzsimmons and Aguilar still side by side through the carousel. Fitzsimmons has taken back over the race lead. Now Aguilar fighting with Calloway. There's Beaver, there's Soto right behind. And these guys are throwing haymakers early on here at the Glen. So Fitzsimmons hold on to the race lead here. Aguilar 4/10 back. Something has happened to Felipe Ramos as he takes a tow. Tom Snyder also showing involved in a little bit of something here. Let's see what happened to Ramos in the 73. Does he just loop it? Yeah, the car gets snapped loose and turns itself to smaller pieces of car. Fitzsimmons with a breakaway, 8/10 up over Aguilar. Aguilar has Calloway, Beaver, Soto, Bianchi. That has a lot of talent inside this top 5. There goes Calloway and Aguilar side by side. This is going to be the battle for second. Calloway, the defending champ. Oh, it's going to be close. Calloway, Aguilar, and now Nick Beaver trying to get in the mix. Beaver in that number 87 machine, the predominantly white. You can also see Russell Soto right behind in the 50 as well. This is going to be good. Another crash report. This time it's Jacob Bramley. And the number 6 machine in a precarious spot. He doesn't have a rear wing, but it looks like everybody gets through nice and easy. Beaver showing down one spot in 4th, but I mean, he's got Russell Soto, a real-life open-wheel driver right behind him as well. The talent field very, very, very deep here. On board with Russell Soto, that is Nick Beaver right ahead, the all-white number 87 machine. Fitzsimmons 1.5 seconds ahead, Soto's 1.5 seconds ahead. But I see problems. Fitzsimmons may have had a disconnect. Fitzsimmons, I think, has left the building. I think Finley Fitzsimmons, the leader, the number 16 machine, won the sprint, drops connection. And the feature absolutely gutting for the young British driver. I can't believe it. But now that's going to be Aguilar, Calloway, Beaver, 1, 2, 3, Soto and Bianchi round out the top 5. And yes, it shows Fitzsimmons out and done. So now it's going to be a fresh face picking up the second win of this season. Ryan Tebow joining us in the spectator area saying the net code got him. Right now, 67% of our viewers thinking we're going to still see the safety car deployed. My personal opinion, if we got through the opening lap, I feel a little bit more optimistic of running this thing out with no safety car. So it's Calloway up front against Aguilar. Beaver still sitting in 3rd. Soto about 6/10 back, but Soto's got his hands full with the Italian stallion Antonio Bianchi. Poor Finley joining us from the spectator area, dejectedly sitting on the pit road wall, watching his friends have an amazing time here at Watkins Glen. Dylan Waldron cheering on Meyer now. And look at this battle. Callaway, Aguilar, Beaver. Separated by about a half second between those three drivers. Looking around as well. So Meyer, who's getting some love from the fans here in that 41 machine, trying to track down Andrew Neri in the 64. Neri is up 5 spots from where he started. Current hard charger, though, is going to be Connor Scribner, the number 89 machine. He is up 12 spots, now sitting 16th. 24 of our 30 entries still out on track. Oh, here we go. Neri, Alexander, Meyer. Oh, there's contact! Alexander gets bumped, goes very wide, and he's going to get split. That's Michael Fairchild gets into him. Jace Meyer gets into him. Evan Alexander just getting beat around, and this says, you know what? I think I'd like to go home now. So let's watch this one once more. There's Fairchild gets into him, and maybe some neck. Let's back that up and enhance. Enhance. So we're watching Evan Alexander. There's contact there with him and Fairchild. And then net code with himself and Jace Meyer. And the number 77 machine just goes all explodey on us. Nick Beaver can be the first driver down pit road. While that franticness was going on, he's back up front. Soto and Bianchi side by side in the carousel. Bianchi, that number 17 machine. Oh no, something has happened to Soto. Soto involved in an incident. Takes a tow back to pit road. He's done and out. Was there contact between the two? Maybe a little bit of net code. And Soto takes a tow. They're dropping like flies out here at Watkins Glen. Trying to see, is there contact between the two? Maybe net code. Soto absolutely drilling the safety barrier. He's going to retire the machine. The net code not being kind to our drivers here tonight. Right now it's Aguilar, Callaway, Bianchi. Jazzy Zuhair, Leo Delmas, Matt Foster, Nick Bieber, all down pit road. Bieber in and out of his stall in 7 seconds with his mandatory tire stop. Still have great battles across the track though. You're watching Andrew Neri, Dylan Meyer, Michael Fairchild. 7th, 8th, and 9th side by side. Meyer looking for an opening here. Fairchild's going to be a big send up the inside line. Oh, look at this. Neri's going to try and fire back here. Oh, it's going to be too tight. I mean, these guys are still side by side. Fairchild showing ahead by about a half car length. Fairchild makes the pass stick in the 88. We got Grace Neri joining us in the spectate area. That's a friendly face we haven't seen in way too long. Grace here right in time to watch Neri in that 64 in a very heated battle. Now it's Dylan Meyer putting the pressure on Neri. Neri still up 8 spots, so looking very, very good here. Hard charger, 2 hard chargers, Connor Scribner and Xavier Zanave. They're both up 16 spots each. AJ Brenner joined us, his fellow motorcycle aficionado. He's joining from the spectator area. Great seeing him as well. Adam Plunkett trying to fend off Nick Peterson. This is going to be the battle for 4th on the circuit. Jeremy Barber comes down pit road for his one mandatory tire stop. Your top 3, Aguilar, Callaway, Bianchi. Right now, it looks like the top 15 drivers have yet to box. As Plunkett still has heavy pressure from Peterson. We're on board that number 24 machine who's trying to track down that 40 of Plunkett. Alex Rhodes cheering on both Plunkett and Shazi Zuhair. Zuhair having a bit of a, I can't even say it's a rough race. He's currently 17th, down 8 spots, but Zuhair also came in for a bit of an undercut. He came in on lap 6 to take his 4 tires. Yeah, Dylan Waldron's saying the poll's still 50-50 on if we're going to see a caution or not. Meyer and Scribner getting ready to go side by side. Here comes Scribner in the number 89 machine. If he can make this pass stick, that's going to be the 17th spot gain for the 89. And oh, are we going to go 3 wide? We hint at it. And man, Jace Meyer had to get on the brakes hard there to get into the void into the back of the 89. As Christian Gritzko, the 91, he wants a piece of it, gets too much. As Jace Meyer gets into the side of the number 91 machine. And Gritzko gets pulverized. I can't tell if Meyer pushed wide or if Gritzko kind of swerved left there a little bit. That's going to be for the stewards to decide. But a hard impact. I mean, there's been some really heavy hits here so far tonight. So Gritzko will join the ever-growing list of drivers on pit road who will not be returning. Yeah, Ryan Tebow let us know a little bit of the, in hockey terms, that'd be a hip check. Aguilar still up front, a half second up over Callaway. With Fitzsimmons going down pit road with the internet issue. It really shook things up here in the top 5. Mayorga rolls out of pit road in the 55 machine. Dylan Meyer finds himself pointing the wrong way in a very precarious position, waiting for some open track. Oh, Meyer, be careful. Looks like he was able to do it nice and clean without further incident. And Plunkett's going to take that opportunity to come down pit road. Get that machine back into check. Maybe throw on some fresh tires after that big spin as well. If he overheated them, might as well just kind of come down pit road and make it happen. Dylan Meyer also going to come down pit road, the number 41 machine. He's currently 13th out on the circuit. There's Ben Depew and Andrew Neri battling for the 7th place spot side by side. Connor Scribner has a great seat in the number 89 machine. Now right now everybody inside the top 10 has yet to box for tires. And we just had another crash report. Antonio Bianchi, who is running 3rd, involved in an incident. There goes Nick Peterson. Oh, Bianchi has way too much heat in the tire, all out of shape. There goes Julian Mador in the 78. What happened to Bianchi here? A little bit too much curbing, and around she goes. So Bianchi's down pit road. A gutting moment for him after running in a very strong third place. Aguilar still up front. Callaway second. Peterson now up in that final podium spot. A little bit further back, Ben Depew, Andrew Neri, Connor Scribner. They are running 5th, 6th, and 7th. It looks like Depew's starting to stretch his legs a little bit over Neri. He's built up about a 6/10 of a second gap. Not quite to the halfway mark of today's main event. Checking back in on Aguilar now. I think his strategy is going to be run this out as long as he possibly can, especially if he can continue building a gap up over Callaway and try and minimize the time he spends on cold tires. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, time and time again have drivers proven me wrong up here in the broadcast booth. It's going to be interesting to see how the tire wear starts to affect these drivers as well. Right now, the pace staying about the same. Callaway set his fastest lap of the race last time by a 1:23.43. The field's getting a little bit more spread out here. 1.2 seconds separating Aguilar in first, Callaway in second. They've got about a 13-second gap over Peterson, who holds on to that final podium spot after Antonio Bianchi's misfortune. I'm curious, very curious to see when these drivers are going to come down pit road. So it looks like, as I say that, Peterson down pit road. Fairchild will move up into third based on pit strategy. Ben Depew in fourth. Now Connor Scribner in the top 5. Still racing across the circuit though, Jace Meyer was fending off Antonio Bianchi, but takes this opportunity to come down pit road. Bianchi will get around him nice and clean, that number 17 machine. We are at the halfway mark for Ray Aguilar, so drivers just getting displayed the cross green and white flags now. It just showed Nick Peterson with a problem on pit road. Did he have an incident? Oh, he did. Peterson, a micro crash on pit road. He will return on the circuit back in 11th. Now still waiting for the top 6 drivers to come down pit road. Peterson, I'm sure, wished the broadcast did not catch that little mistake. Yeah, I agree with Tebow there. Lit up the tires a little bit. A little bit too much application of the loud pedal. Especially on cold tires, that can really bite you. Watching the flying Frenchman Xavier Zanabe, who is up 17 spots, and after 13 votes with the fans saying it's going to be smooth sailing at the halfway mark. I feel they're right. 54% of the viewers saying it's going to be smooth sailing. We're not going to see a safety car. I agree. If we made it to this point, nice, clean, and green, these drivers doing a fantastic job, and mostly the incidents we've seen have just been 1 or 2 drivers at a time. We got Jay Servone joined us cheering on Julian Medor in that 78. Medor had a long pit stop on lap 11 in his stall for 47 seconds, so wonder if there was a bit of a penalty at play there, if he might have sped onto pit road. Peterson keeping the pressure, but Leo Delmas doing a great job after making his way around that number 21 machine. Has quickly built up a 3/4 of a second gap. Ben Depew boxing with 12 laps left to go here. Haven't talked much about Matt Foster in that 32 machine, but he is up 12 positions, tucked in behind Zanave. Zanave made that pass for 13th on this lap, and Foster's going to tuck in behind. And for some of these newer drivers that are joining, that's a great opportunity. If somebody comes around you that just has a little bit more speed, even following those drivers for a corner or two, as long as you can stay with them, you can really learn a lot from the other drivers. See where they're braking, see where they're getting on the gas, and maybe adjusting your lines a little bit to match. Now we are 22 minutes in and 16 laps. I'm wondering if we're going to hit the timer before we get to the checkered flag. I'll do a little bit of broadcast math up here, which is usually wildly incorrect. Yeah, I think we're good on laps. Connor Scribner, the number 89 machine down pit road. Your top 4 now: Aguilar, Callaway, Fairchild, and Neri. The only drivers on the circuit who have yet to box here. And keep an eye out. Nick Beaver just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.13. He came down pit road early on lap 5 and is starting to put a blistering pace now on the 87 machine. I'm going to be really interested to see how this top 5 pans itself out, as we've got another crash report. It's Connor Scribner, the 89 machine. Did he pull a Peterson and have issues leaving pit road? He did. Oh my goodness. Connor Scribner almost murdered another driver there. So watch this. This is going to be, I think that was Jace Meyer, the number 20 machine. Oh my goodness. No, it wasn't Jace Meyer. We've got to find that on board. It was the last thing I do as a broadcaster. Who is in that teal? I could have sworn it wasn't Meyer. But that was one of the most spectacular moments I think I've ever seen. It doesn't get any closer than that, ladies and gentlemen. I think that was the 24 is what I'm showing. Yes, that's Nick Peterson. So get ready for the best onboard I think you're ever going to see. So on board with Nick Peterson, we've got the League Zero Super Slow-Mo here. Look at this. Wait for it. Did I miss it? Am I that bad? I am. There we go. All right, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be really good. So we're on board with Nick Peterson's number 24 machine. It doesn't even show it on his screen. What is going on here? Oh, it was behind Peterson. Okay. I don't think Peterson realized that his race, his career, almost virtually ended there. And by the powers invested in me as broadcaster here at League Zero, we would now like to officially announce that the number 89 machine will henceforth be known as Connor the Rocket Scribner in that 89 machine for the most amazing moment I think I've seen here in the Super Formula machines. So thank you to the fans for sticking with me as I figured that one out. Oh, that was spectacular. Another crash report. Jeremy Barber looks like he's retired from the event after an incident on lap 16. Oh, the same corner it looks like. Yes. Loses it. Gives a little boop of the nose and says, I've had enough. Michael Fairchild down pit road. Aguilar and Callaway opt to stay out. That's going to put Beaver back up into third as Beaver, again, the fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.031. He is screaming the 87 machine. Now, Beaver shows 32.7 seconds back from Aguilar, 30.1 from Callaway. And Beaver's got a lot of clean track here, so depending on how the pit stops go for Aguilar and Callaway, I think Beaver's in a good spot here to still be in contention up front. Yeah, Dylan Waldron, and we almost lost the pole. Yeah, the safety car might have to be deployed if that was the incident. Just to check on the drivers, that had such great potential to be the most violent incident I think I've ever called in an iRacing event. I've called hundreds of races. So Aguilar and Callaway still first and second, separated by 2.9 seconds. Beaver's still running a little bit faster lap times every time he clicks one off here. You see the push to pass being activated for the 87 machine. Gonna be interested to see, can Beaver maybe make something happen here? It's gonna really depend on what Aguilar and Callaway have going on. A little bit of lap traffic in the horizon for Aguilar. It's gonna be McAllister in 14th and Mayorga in 13th. Hard Charger out on track, Xavier Zinave running 10th. That number 12 machine up 20 positions so far here tonight. Aguilar down pit road, Callaway opts to stay out a little while longer. The pit lane times, Beaver, for instance, put down a 38-second flat pit road time from entry cones to exit cones. He spent 6.98 seconds in his stall. Let's see what Aguilar does. He's a little bit slower on pit road, 7.6 seconds. And comes out immediately on the push to pass as Beaver gets into the 122s. As on the left side of your screen, the right side of the live timing tower, that is how long each driver spent in their pit stall. on their last pit stop. Some drivers a little bit further down the field have had to come down pit road maybe 1 or 2 more times than the rest of the field. But you can see that Beaver was about 0.6 faster on pit road than Aguilar, and that's going to keep him in striking distance. And Beaver has been putting down barn burners of lap times, but it's answered. Antonio Bianchi, number 17, he clicked off on 1:22.82, 0.03 of a second faster than Beaver. So Bianchi finding some speed as well. Jaden Calloway, the defending champ, the race leader, down pit road for his one and only scheduled stop. Where is this going to put our drivers once the pit stops are completed here? Now Beaver was in and out of a stall 7 seconds flat. Aguilar 7.6 seconds. Calloway, what's it going to be for that number 1 machine? Calloway out of his pit stall 7.3 seconds, but he's back to 3rd in the number 1. So Aguilar is going to be the race leader. Beaver 2nd, Calloway sitting in 3rd. And man, Aguilar and Beaver, a 3.3 second gap over Calloway. Both drivers look like they have the push to pass still available to them. This is going to be really good. About 0.3 separating the top 2 drivers here. Aguilar technically on his out lap. Trying to get those tires back up to temp because Beaver is charging hard behind. Nine-tenths separating these two. 5 laps left to go. We get ready to make it 4 as Aguilar crosses the start-finish line. Aguilar's put in a ton of work over the offseason. And you can tell it's paying out for him. And Aguilar's one of those drivers, I don't want to say he's been driving safer than I've seen him 4 or 5 years ago, but I would say he's picking his moments a lot more carefully than we've seen in seasons past with that 72 machine. We've definitely seen championships won or lost based on consistency in the past. It's not always been the fastest hot lapping driver that rocks that number 1 plate. It is very much a combination of speed and consistency. But Beaver is here to upset that status quo. The number 87, you heard him after the sprint race saying he hasn't driven this car since last season. Hopped in cold, put in the podium the first sprint race of the season. But Aguilar starting to get some momentum, built up a 1.1 second gap over Beaver. Beaver way off track. Oh, Beaver's gonna hemorrhage time there. Now 2 seconds back from Aguilar. This is gonna be good. Aguilar might have been handed a bit of a gift there. Still racing going on though. Xavier Zanave, that hard charger who's up 20 spots. He's got Andrew Neri clicking off laps once again. Antonio Bianchi, the fastest lap of the race, a 1:22.7. As he holds on to the 5th place spot in the number 17 machine. And no, it wasn't Aguilar who hasn't practiced since last season. I think Aguilar's put in a ton of seat time since last season. It was Nick Beaver, the number 87 machine, who said he has not been driving the Super Formula. Now Beaver races multiple times throughout the week in different disciplines, so he's getting seat time, but for me as a driver, it's very tough to go from, an LMP3 to an open wheel high performance machine such as the Super Formula. Neri seems to be getting it figured out as he gains a spot from Zanave. Now it's going to be Leo Dalmas and Zanave, both hard chargers up 19 spots. Zanave is going to try and charge back here. Neri in seasons past has struggled to keep that 64 machine out of the vortex of danger. Hopefully this is the season where things start to go his way. Jaden Calloway running third, clicks off the fastest lap of the race on 122.56. Aguilar clicked off his fastest on 123 flat. So the pace is increasing as the fuel load starts to decrease for these drivers. Aguilar still has a 2-second advantage over Beaver. Beaver, a 3.3 second gap over Jaden Calloway, the defending champ. Leo Delmas starting to catch up to the back of Shazi Zuhair, the number 10 machine. Zuhair, such a great and approachable driver. I mean, both these drivers are. Delmas and Zuhair as they make wheel-to-wheel contact. Not sure if that was an intentional friendly bump or drivers not realizing they're trying to occupy the same bit of tarmac here. Zuhair will come out on top, holding 7th. Delmas, though, really fighting for it. Delmas with another big run. Aguilar, for the first time, I believe, clicks off the fastest lap of the race on 122.447. So he is getting a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more racy, that 72 machine. And he's also on the push to pass as well, trying to squeeze out some more with just a couple laps left to go here at Watkins Glen. Going back to the battle between Delmas and Zuhair. Delmas makes an inside pass. That's going to be, again, his 20th position gain. But look at Zuhair staying right in the draft, trying to get set up for the inside line. Delmas takes it away from him. Says, hey, Zuhair, if you're going to make it happen, you got to go the long way around here. And another Frenchman trying his best, Xavier Zanave, tucked in behind Andrew Neri. Ryan Tebow, yeah, check out the schedule. We're going to be going to Sebring, and look at that lap time. Aguilar barely squeezes into the 121s. Much faster than anybody else has been able to click off here, and that is going to be the white flag. Aguilar 3.2 seconds up over Beaver. Beaver is using the push to pass as well to try and close the distance, but that is a huge gap between himself and Aguilar. I think Beaver would have been in the mix here without that off-track excursion, but that's racing. A half lap left to go. 2 races the opening round, and it looks like it's going to be 2 different winners here. Aguilar making his way around the final corner of Raceway here at Watkins Glen. The uphill left-hander remains. And then a bit of a switchback for the start-finish line. And put your hands together. Ray Aguilar picks up the first feature win of the season. Nick Beaver will get second. And Jaden Calloway will round out the top 3 here at Watkins Glen. Beaver and Aguilar giving each other a little virtual wave out the window. Ooh. What a great race amongst these drivers. And a big thumbs up as well. Leo Delmas, the hard charger, up 20 spots, and a tip of the hat as well to Xavier Zanave, up 19 positions. There's been some big moves that were made here today. We've got Beaver in the booth. We're waiting on Callaway and Aguilar. Looks like we can get this party started. So up first, we're going to have the defending champ join us, Jaden Callaway. Welcome back to the podium the first time this season and showing why that #1 plate's on the side of that machine. A great and very consistent run out there.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad start to the season. Obviously, I'd like to finish a bit better, but yeah, it's not a bad way to start at all. It was a fun race.
I mean, Callaway, we kind of harped on the broadcast, but from the beginning of last season, you always had championships on the mind and smooth, consistent finishes, and it looked like that came into play here as well. Picked passes carefully, didn't do anything too aggressive, and still maintained great pace throughout that event. Is there anything you would have changed after that one?
No, I think it was a very well executed race. I had 2 really good starts, gained a couple spots off the line each time, and I was pretty consistent in race pace, and Ray and Nick were just a little bit quicker, but I wouldn't change anything.
Now, Jaden, having that #1 plate on the front and sides of the machine, is that a little bit of extra pressure, or is that kind of indifferent for you?
Nah, I try not to think about that and just do my thing.
Well, it seemed like it worked for you. We're looking forward to having you up here a bunch this season, hopefully defending that #1. And before I let you go, because I know that was a grueling race for everybody, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen for you?
Yeah, as always, my friends and family watching and supporting me, my team, Squid Gang Racing, my teammate AJ, and I'm streaming on Twitch for the first time tonight. So whoever's watching, thank you for watching.
Well, what's that Twitch plug, Jaden? We need it for the broadcast so we can get some of our guys over there.
Yeah, it's Zen_37, XEN_37.
Awesome. We'll send some viewers your way. And Jaden, congratulations on a great podium finish here at Watkins Glen.
Thanks, James.
That was Jaden Callaway bringing it home in third. Up next, old-time friend Nick Beaver. Welcome back. It looked like you had the pace, you had the pit road time, but a little bobble there. Looked like it put Aguilar just out of reach for you.
Yeah, it did. And at that point, I think he was getting away anyway. I was losing the draft. His tires were fresh, and mine were pretty angry at that point. So, yeah, I was pushing hard, trying to catch him. Pushing hard the whole time, trying to make the undercut work. But, you know, I'll take a P2. That's still really cool. Congratulations to Ray for hanging on.
Now,
that
Nick,
race was a lot of fun. Yeah,
it looked like a ton of fun, and yeah, what I think was a good call coming down pit road. I think it was like lap 5 or 6 maybe, and it seemed like the tires did last a very long time. I mean, you were getting 12 to 14 laps before I noticed a pace drop off at all because that thing was screaming throughout the run.
Yeah, and that's on me for not doing enough homework before this race started to know when the tires start falling off, when they start getting too hot. In the past, you know, if we've had cautions early on, we all pit early and then we just run the race. And I thought, yeah, maybe the tires will hold on that long, but it didn't quite work out, and that's okay. That's something I'll learn and move forward. But yeah, what in the beginning 5 or 6 laps, there was a lot of off throttle time and a lot of braking early, and I thought, you know, this is time that I could be used in clean air, and that's that's where I tried the undercut, and it almost worked, but that's all right.
Hey, a great race all the way around. You've got to be pumped. I mean, a whole lot of fastest laps of the race there, and a clean race car, a second place. Not much more you can ask for. So you got to be pumped here, Nick.
I am, absolutely, and I feel like I'm running with some of the best, so it's always an honor. And you know, I think it's going to be a fun season. Trying to catch Ray. Jaden's always quick, and if Finley's internet can hang on, it's going to be a fun battle up top.
Well, I'm looking forward. I know the fans are as well at home, Nick. Before I let you go, sign off, get ready for the evening. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make 2 back-to-back podiums possible for you?
All the fans watching, all of J2I if they're watching. I think Nick might be, Erico might be. That's pretty cool. Shout out to Hannah for keeping me company. It's pretty lonely when there's no one else around, so it's good to have her. And then thank you, James, for putting on the stream. I'm very excited to go back and watch this one.
It was a good one, Nick. Always a pleasure, and hope to have you back up here a bunch this season.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, James.
That was Nick Beaver bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Aguilar. Welcome back to the top spot. I know that's how you want to start this season after all the off-season work, and Man, you can tell it really paid off here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, you want to put in the time and get a result back. There's so many times in this sport you put in effort and then mishaps happen and you just feel down on yourself. Tonight's a great night. I'm glad this worked out like this.
I mean, it's super cool to see, and we kind of talked about in the broadcast as well, Ray, but in the past few seasons, we've definitely noticed you kind of picking those moments of opportunity. And I don't want to say driving safer, but maybe driving smarter than what we've seen from 4 or 5 seasons ago. Does that seem to be the case for you?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to like for instance the last corner, you can easily push hard and touch that wall almost every lap. And I know myself, 1 out of 28 laps I'm going to smack the thing. And so I just, I back it down a quarter turn and hope I can stay safe through the whole race. And I don't know, that's hopefully it pays off. That's what I'm going to try to do this season. I had a lot of bad luck last season, but you know what? I'm only going to blame myself. I can't blame anything else on the universe other than me.
Yeah, it's very, very profound. And during that run as
Oh, I
well.
got fast lap too. I forgot. Oh, I just noticed that. I got fast lap too.
Yeah, absolutely ripping it. The only driver into the 121s, just barely, but hey, still counts. So, I mean, a good points night for you. And it was very interesting to see. It looked like you and Beaver were very, very close after the pit cycle as well.
Yeah, we're also close in friendship terms. He's one of my best buds. I like the guy a lot. I wish he would stick around more often and stay with us. Hopefully, he says he will. So hopefully this season he'll be here the whole season.
Well,
But
I think, unfortunately, you've given him that taste of a possible win now. So now I think he's got that fire inside of him.
oh, he'll get one. He's fast. That boy's he's got that dog in him.
Yeah, as soon as he starts practicing, he's going to be a real threat, I think. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Ray, so that being said, were you a little bit relieved when you saw him have an off-track excursion there and suddenly that gap opened up to about 3 seconds?
Yep. So the rub there was I thought I come out, I have better tires, and I did. I had just mountains of grip, and I thought, okay, as long as I can keep him about 7-8 tenths back, I can keep him out of that tow range and keep him from passing me. Once I saw that snap and I saw the relative go up, I knew all I had to do was just bring it home and not smack the wall or do anything dumb.
Well, you made it happen, executing on the plan. A great night for you. I know you're always thinking about points, even though it's round 1. So a solid start to the season. And if this race is anything to come, this is going to be a fantastic season start to finish.
I think so. We had a great turnout, great bunch of guys. We didn't have a ton of problems. It wasn't crazy. I think everybody's getting used to this car. How did the starts go? I didn't see them
So
in
from
front, but
maybe the back quarter of the field, I saw some possibly botched starts, but I mean, no safety car deployed, no parking lot on the start-finish line straight. So I'd call that a win.
yeah, I'm pumped about that. If we can keep some clean racing, that's the sort of mentality and the major talking point this season is, we've lowered all the penalty thresholds, so everybody's going to get penalties at higher amounts. I mean, we were even short on incidents tonight. It's easy to get 1 or 2 per lap. We only had 13 to deal with on a 28-lap race. So I think this is going to make things really fun. Everyone's going to have to slow down and really think about what they're doing. At least that's the goal.
Yep, slow down to go fast. Very well said. Ray, for the first time this season, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped made back-to-back podiums as well as a feature win possible for you?
First and foremost, Finley Fitzsimmons. He actually helped out since he was out of the race early. He had car trouble. I think he probably would have had this one in the bag. He got that early lead early on, so I want to thank him. He helped me out a bunch during that race, and everybody else that comes and shows up and makes this awesome, man. We had a great turnout and a great race tonight, so I'm hoping we can keep that going. So I appreciate everybody.
Well, very well said. Ray, congratulations again, my friend, and hope to have you back up here a bunch this season.
I love you so much, James.
I love you too, buddy. That was Ray Aguilar bringing in the top spot of the feature. He was accompanied by Nick Beaver, as well as the defending champ, Jaden Calloway. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for joining us for the season opener, and I'll see you next week. Have a great night, everybody.